Welcome to this explainer. We're going to dive right into an absolute high-stakes, behind-the-scenes diplomatic thriller unfolding right now in the Middle East. We're looking at a deeply consequential moment of friction between the United States and Israel, as reported by Axios and NDTV, that literally changed military operations on the ground. So let's just get right into it.
Okay, you have to hear this explosive quote. This is reportedly the exact language used in a recent highly tense phone call between U.S. President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Now, the context here is absolutely critical. That prison remark, that's reportedly a reference to Trump's support during the Israeli leader's corruption trial. But the sheer bluntness of this exchange, which, by the way, was confirmed by multiple U.S. officials and a third source briefed on the call, tells us that something massive was at stake to provoke this kind of raw, unfiltered anger between two heads of state.
So it really begs the question, how on earth did these longtime allies reach such a breaking point? Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu have shared a very complex, decades-long relationship. I mean, historically, it's been marked by periods of incredibly strong public alignment, but also deep private tension. They've coordinated closely on Iran and other massive geopolitical issues before. To understand how they reached this unprecedented level of private friction, we actually need to look at the escalating military situation unfolding on the ground at that exact moment.
Section 1. The Lebanon Escalation Factor. The timeline here is pretty clear. Back in mid-April, an existing ceasefire broke down, and Hezbollah resumed attacks after Israeli strikes in Lebanon, strikes that Israel characterized as self-defense. Fast forward to recent days, and Israel actually began expanding its ground operations in southern Lebanon. But the real tipping point, the imminent threat that triggered that explosive phone call, was Israel's reported plan to bomb targets directly in the Lebanese capital of Beirut. While Trump fully acknowledged Israel's need to defend itself against Hezbollah's attacks in the north, sources say he viewed Netanyahu's threat to bomb the capital city as a vastly disproportionate escalation.
Section 2. Inside the heated exchange.
This brings us right into the war room. According to the Axios report, a deeply frustrated Trump confronted Netanyahu directly with this exact question. He was reportedly, quote-unquote, pissed and highly concerned about the broader geopolitical fallout of an attack on Beirut. This wasn't just, a standard diplomatic check-in. This was an aggressive intervention by the U.S. president to stop an allied military operation right in its tracks.
Trump actually has some very specific tactical grievances. He objected to knocking down entire buildings just to take out a single Hezbollah commander, arguing it risked way too many Lebanese civilian casualties. But his primary focus? That was actually the broader diplomatic picture. Trump was furious that an escalation in Lebanon was threatening to completely implode his fragile, ongoing peace negotiations with Iran to end the larger Middle East conflict. He explicitly warned Netanyahu that bombing Beirut would push Israel toward total global isolation.
Section 3. The Beirut strike halted. Now, this heated, expletive-laden call wasn't just a venting session, it actually resulted in rapid-fire military consequences. Right after that intense confrontation on the phone, Trump successfully put the brakes on Israel's plan. The tangible outcome was immediate. An Israeli official confirmed to reporters that the Jewish state no longer planned to strike Hezbollah targets in Beirut. The troops were redirected. It is just a striking example of direct, forceful presidential diplomacy altering a military timeline in real time.
Immediately after securing this halt, Trump kind of took a public victory lap. He posted on his Truth Social platform, publicly touting the call as productive. He framed the military halt as a direct result of his intervention, writing, "I had a conversation with Bibi Netanyahu today, asking him not to go into a major raid of Beirut. He turned his troops around. Thank you, Bibi."
However, Netanyahu framed the exact same decision much, much differently to his own public. He confirmed the conversation happened, but he cast it less as a restraint and more as a warning. Netanyahu publicly stated that Tel Aviv would absolutely strike targets in Beirut if Hezbollah's attacks didn't stop, and he insisted that military operations in southern Lebanon would continue as planned. It's really a fascinating look at how two allied leaders spin a tense private agreement for their respective domestic audiences.
Section 4. An uneasy ceasefire. Ultimately, this massive diplomatic collision paved the way for a fragile understanding. So let's break down the actual mechanics of the deal that emerged, known as the Rubio Proposal. Brokered by U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and secured through Lebanese authorities, this agreement outlines a mutual de-escalation aimed at preventing an all-out regional war. Basically, Israel agrees not to strike Beirut's southern suburbs. In exchange, Hezbollah agrees not to attack northern Israel. It's a localized, super high-stakes quid pro quo.
And to help seal this deal, Trump confirmed he actually took the extraordinary step of speaking directly with representatives of Hezbollah's leaders to secure their agreement to stop shooting. Which leaves us with this quote from Trump regarding the new mutual ceasefire. Let's see how long that lasts. Hopefully it will be for eternity. It's a highly optimistic yet clearly uncertain declaration for lasting peace from the U.S. president.
As we wrap up this explainer, this is the major question we are left with. We've just seen how a single explosive phone call changed the trajectory of a military campaign in a matter of hours. But we really have to ask whether an agreement born from such intense external pressure and, honestly, such deep private anger between allies can truly endure. Are we looking at the foundations of a lasting peace, or is Middle East diplomacy simply standing on a razor's edge? Thanks for walking through this complex timeline with us, and definitely keep an eye on this space, because this geopolitical story is far from over.